HMS Warspite, the remarkable underdog. The HMS Warspite was never the fastest battleship, never the most heavily armored, never the most modern. She was, by almost any objective measure, the underdog of the Royal Navy's battle fleet. And yet she served in 2 world wars, survived a direct hit from a German-guided bomb, and earned more battle honors than any other ship in British history. 20 battle honors. That is not a typo. Warspite has more than the Warspite's own crew could count. Her secret was not technology. It was stubbornness. The ship simply refused to die, and her crews learned to match that energy. Warspite's legend began with a steering failure. At the Battle of Jutland in 1916, her helm jammed at the worst possible moment. Instead of turning away from the German high seas fleet, she turned toward it and circled directly in front of the enemy line. For the next 15 minutes, Warspite absorbed fire from every German battleship within range. She was hit at least 15 times. One shell tore through her upper deck and exploded in the mess. Another destroyed a turret, but she did not sink. She completed her circle, regained steering control, and limped back to the British line. Her crew had not panicked. They had simply worked the pumps and kept firing back. The Navy repaired her, sent her back to the fleet, and promptly forgot about her. That was fine with Warspite. Between the wars, she was modernized so thoroughly that some called her a new ship. New engines, new armor, new anti-aircraft guns. But you know, the hull was still 1913 steel, and that old steel had a personality. In April 1940, Warspite led a flotilla of destroyers into the Ofot Fjord near Narvik, Norway. German destroyers had been using the fjord as a base, hiding in the narrows where British capital ships could not turn. Warspite did not turn. She went straight in, with her own destroyers screening, and launched her Swordfish floatplane to scout ahead. That floatplane made history. It spotted a German submarine, U-64, anchored in a side fjord. The pilot, a lieutenant commander, dropped 2 depth charges on the submarine. U-64 sank immediately. It was the first time an aircraft from a battleship had ever sunk a submarine. In the ensuing surface action, Warspite and her destroyers sank 8 German destroyers, half of the German Navy's destroyer force. The ship was hit by shore batteries. She shrugged it off. Old steel. Then came the Mediterranean. At Cape Matapan in 1941, Warspite and her sisters engaged the Italian fleet at night. British radar gave them an edge, but radar does not aim guns. Men do. Warspite's gunners hit the Italian cruiser Fiume at 8,000 yards. The first salvo destroyed her bridge. The second blew her forward turret overboard. Fiume sank in 20 minutes. The ship's luck ran out in May 1941 off Crete. A German Ju-87 Stuka put a 500-pound bomb through her side. The explosion tore a hole in her hull and disabled her steering. Again, the old Jutland problem. But Warspite was now in the middle of a German-controlled sea. Towing her to Alexandria took 3 days, with air attacks every hour. The crew never abandoned the damage control stations. Welders worked in flooded compartments. Fire crews hosed down burning ammunition lockers. She made it to Alexandria. The Navy patched her and sent her back out. The most extraordinary moment came at Salerno in 1943. Warspite was providing gunfire support for the Allied landings when a new German weapon found her. The Fritz X was a radio-guided bomb dropped from high altitude. It could turn in flight. One Fritz X hit Warspite near her funnel. It punched through 7 decks before exploding just above the keel. The explosion blew a hole in the bottom of the ship. Water flooded the engine rooms. All power was lost. A second Fritz X hit nearby and exploded against the hull, opening another hole. By all naval engineering standards, Warspite should have sunk. She was taking on water faster than the pumps could handle. The list reached 5 degrees, then 10. The order was given to abandon ship. Most of the crew left, but a skeleton damage control party stayed aboard. They counter-flooded compartments on the opposite side to reduce the list. They started portable pumps. Over the next 24 hours, they saved her. She was towed to Malta, then to Gibraltar, then to England. The voyage took 6 months. Warspite arrived in Rosyth under her own power, barely, in March 1944. After the war, the Navy tried to save her as a museum. Money ran out. In 1947, she was sold for scrap. On the way to the scrapyard, a storm broke her tow line. Warspite drifted for days, grounding herself on the rocks of Prussia Cove in Cornwall. She refused to go quietly, even at the end. The salvage crews spent 3 years cutting her apart where she lay. Some of her steel became bridge girders. Her teak deck became souvenir ashtrays. But her name lived on. The Royal Navy has not reused it, waiting for the right ship. What Warspite teaches naval strategists today is that durability is a weapon. A ship that survives damage can fight another day. A crew that knows how to counter-flood and patch holes can turn a catastrophe into a repair job. The Germans built more advanced ships. The Italians built faster ships. But Warspite outlasted them all because she was built to take a beating and ask for more. That is the underdog's advantage. Not speed, not surprise, just a refusal to sink. Subscribe to War Machiner and share this if you value history that goes deeper.